right, hi, my name's Ben Ward. Thank you so much. I'm a software developer. I just wanted to show off what I've been working on for the last 8 months or so. So this is going to be a little bit more technical, but I am not going to go into a lot of detail. Please do ask me later if you have questions. This does not cover a lot of really exciting topics like vibe coding and the latest agents and all that fun stuff. So I want to talk about the conversational pipeline I built. So this is an app I built. It launched today, actually. Yay! So you start off here. This is for language learning. There's a million of these. I built it because I thought it would be fun. There's no market fit. It's so crowded. So you come in here, you pick your conversation, and then you follow along a scenario, and you're just listening and watching right now. There's no audio in this. And then after you've done that, you actually study the vocabulary based on that conversation. You've got multiple choice, drag and drop, fill in the blank, all the normal stuff if you use something like Duolingo. So this is experiential learning. And then now it's your turn to go in and actually have that conversation you were watching before. You've got translation buttons, you can repeat it, all that stuff. You can get hints, and then next you can change it up and you can talk about anything. And you're given suggestions based on the prompt there. And if you want to take it even farther, you can make your own scenarios. If you want to ask your mother-in-law, how she makes her quiche, you can do that. So this is just a natural way of learning. This was really important to me. Like Darshan said, we went to school together in Japan years ago, and it really helped me, when I didn't know how to say to my new friends who didn't speak English, where are we going, where's the bathroom? So it's something I feel passionate about, and I just had really a lot of fun making this. But I'm getting hoarse, I get nervous in front of people, so I'm going to actually have
doing great.
My activity.
Way better than the last guy.
See if you can hear this. Actually, no, I could use some help. Can you finish this presentation for me?
Certainly. Where were we?
Here I'm pressing a button. Because I'm running on my computer, you're not using the feature I'm most excited about. On device, it uses on-device speech recognition, so you just talk to it. There's no pressing a button. We're actually on the tech stack. The tech stack.
Ah, yes. This is an Expo app using Supabase for the backend and authentication. We use GPT-4o and GPT-4o Mini for our models and Google Cloud Text-to-Speech.
I could just do interpretive dance while she says everything. Next.
I can't change the slide.
Oh, right, sorry, sorry. That's the next app. Sorry, next.
The challenge of this app was making it conversational on a mobile device, making trade-offs between quality, performance, and cost.
Next.
Our pipeline looks like this. First, the user speaks. Their audio is converted via speech to text on device. Next, we send the text to GPT-4o Mini to get the bot answer. We then take that text and generate audio and lip sync timing data via Google Text-to-Speech. Finally, we play the audio while animating the avatar.
So I could get into this a lot more, and I'm not going to. One thing I have pointed out here is, why am I not using speech-to-speech? We were talking before about latency. There's much better models out there. I'm going to talk about voice quality here in a second. But I had a specific need. I needed these mouth shapes, and we're going to come back to that later. Also, what's going on right now doesn't use this whole pipeline. So I pre-cache everything, I generate the scenarios. It's only the real free-form chat that uses this whole pipeline. And there's a very good cost reason for that. Next.
I feel like we are losing the room here.
No, they're fine. Find it. Next.
The biggest win in development was switching from using OpenAI speech to text to using the phone speech to text. When we used OpenAI, we had added latency and added cost. To record, users had to press a button to start and stop the recording. There were annoying bugs where it thought spoken English was Korean. After switching to on-device speech recognition supported in recent iOS and Android, things got better. Lower latency led to more natural conversation. We no longer have to pay for speech to text. The quality is much better. We can now use continuous speech recognition. No more press to record. Crucially, we no longer confuse English for Korean.
So there were a lot of the same problems actually that Scott was referring to. There were optimizations I made where I'm like, as soon as you hear it, right, get that latency down, like as soon as you hear they're giving the right answer, let's just go ahead and talk. Then it can talk over people, so it's a real fine line. Next.
Voice quality is not as great as the latest generation models from OpenAI or Google. In order to animate lip syncing, we need visum or mouth shape data and timing. Only Google does that, and the new Gemini models do not yet offer it.
So this is a real bummer to me. There's really, really good models, including even better models from Google, but I need this data. And I've looked into other ways to do it on device, to do it on the fly, but there's all these trade-offs that we're going to get into. Next.
You don't like my voice. What's wrong with my voice?
I don't know.
Next.
We do prompt engineering by programmatically changing our prompts. For example, our difficulty rank defines what kind of prompt we want when generating conversations or replies.
So this was an early complaint I got where these people might be learning Spanish and then the initial prompts are way too hard. So this is just a way of generating that curriculum and getting it to be better. Next.
As this app is currently free but moving to freemium, cost is a very big concern. We cut costs in the following ways using the existing on-device speech recognition. Using cheaper, faster models when possible. Limiting the amount of context we are passing to the LLM. Generating all content outside of free-form chat ahead of time and caching it for everyone. Lastly, we limit our costly features.
So this reminds me of a cardboard box I saw on the street in Japan a long time ago. It was in English. It surprised me. It said that portion control is price control. So we all want to make really cool products. We know how cool they can be, but especially if it's a free, as in my app, or a freemium model, it's somebody's got to pay for that. So so I do limit the amount of free chat you can do, the amount of scenario generation you can do. Next.
Here are the key technical trade-offs. We generate content ahead of time whenever possible to save on costs at the expense of lots of S3 storage. We have complex hybrid speech recognition code where we support continuous speech recognition for newer devices and manual recording for older devices. We give up some quality in our free-form chat, but we want it to be fast, and it is just small talk anyway. Using WebGL for the 3D is memory intensive, but the development was faster. Every optimization has a cost. Choose your battles.
Next.
Here is what I would do differently.
You didn't do it. I can talk about what I do differently. So I would launch earlier. I know we have entrepreneurs in here, and I made something I thought was fun, and I just kept working on it. I can say that I've gotten better because I have this habit of building something for 2 to 3 years before getting it out there and finding out that maybe there's no there there. Validate earlier, launch earlier. Kind of wish I built this in Unity instead. trying to shoehorn 3D in here with low latency has been very difficult and is still a problem. So I kind of wish I used something that was purpose-built to begin with. There's some other things like having a proper ORM and using TypeScript would help the developer experience. Those are some of the things I would have done. So these are kind of my key takeaways, that it's a lot of orchestration, a lot of race conditions, a lot of cost, and just really a lot of trade-offs. Yeah, I would really love your feedback. It's live on iOS and Android. Apparently, I forgot my slashes. Does anybody have any questions?
You said you're doing on-device speech recognition. Are you using an external model like the local model for Whisper, or are you using like Apple's built-in speech recognition?
That's a really good question. Thankfully, I have somebody I share an office with, David, who has experience with not just local LLMs, but local LLMs on phones. And he was able to warn me not to do it. Now, specifically for the use case I had, so I took his word for it, I didn't do it. On-device speech recognition means that you can tie into the Apple and Google generated, rather the Android speech recognition. So when I say newer phones, I believe like the A9. So if I'm using an older iPhone, it still supports, I can use their speech recognition, but it might not be on device. It means that instead of me calling out to Whisper, it would call out to their external speech recognition. But I found it a lot easier because I had the hardest time really going like, whatever you think you're hearing, this is supposed to be Spanish. And it sounds like Polish to me. I'm like, it's not. Because these are all beginners. So that was a problem. I do want to clarify that the crackles you were hearing was because I was running it through the simulator, which has audio issues. But yeah, that was definitely a big win for me there, just to have better speech recognition.
And my second question, real fast, I think I know the answer to it. Did you design the scenario where it says, sorry, we need to change the slide, or was it really your simulation really looking at your slide?
It's all just magic. No, I didn't design this one. So I built this thing to the scenario today, but I had to break it to like, no, we're English. And yeah, I had to kind of code that bit by hand. So normally, so I used this feature that we added. This is creating your own scenario. Did it come up? Sorry, come up. But you can create a custom scenario. You just give it a small prompt saying that, you know, Jack and Jill went up the hill to get water, and it'll make a conversation based on that. Now, of course, you know, I had to have another LLM as a judge to be like, can we actually make a conversation based on this? So it's LLMs all the way down. Sorry?
Can you talk a little about how you're going to promote this, get it out there?
Certainly. So I built this once again because I thought it was fun and then got way out of hand. And I do want to apologize to David and Darshan, my other friends who've had to have me show this to them for a while. If you're ever on Maui, we have a group, Maui Techies. I showed it to everybody there. The idea is I'm hoping to get away with a freemium model that requires subscriptions for the more of the custom scenario, more of the chat. The great news is, I'm not sure if everybody can see it here, but the flow, and this is based on experiential learning, the way we all learn, and that is you watch the thing, you quiz your vocabulary, and then you actually say it, and then you chat. These three things here now, watch, quiz, and practice, the free parts of the app don't cost me anything after I generate it. Because we're using the on-device speech recognition, I'm not paying a per call cost for that. Now I do have my S3 cost, but that's relatively cheap for me to do. So at this point, having gone live today, I haven't put any ads out. I'm just hoping that it'll resonate with people, and then I'll see whether or not people will pay for more of the free-form features.
So like, in this genre, there's like Anki, which is like space-based interpretation. And new algorithm that came out, which, the recent studies and research about learning, for the brain, space-based recognition is really good with the algorithm, acquisition of new language. You kind of mentioned that you're really good at it. Are you using some of the stuff?
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the same thing, but a problem that came up early is that if you've got hola in your Spanish study, by the time you're on your 8th scenario, you don't need to study hola anymore. So we do that, and we start getting rid of terms that you've already heard. We cut them off at, I believe, across the whole course, we come off at three things. Now, when we're studying a word within a sentence, they may come up, but you're not going to get multiple choice on just that or not have to do that. Is that something along those lines? There is a whole lot more to language education that I'm not gotten into here. There's certifications, there's so much more you can get into. But obviously it's kind of the beginning of my journey. This is meant to be more of a replacement for language